That was actually part of a newly passed COVID-19 relief legislation.
And the Corona Relief Bill the president signed last month to disclose what they know about UFOs within 180 days.
U.S. intelligence agencies have less than 6 months to disclose what they know about UFOs. It's all part of the coronavirus relief deal President Trump signed back in December.
When he signed the massive $2 trillion COVID relief and government funding bill last month, he triggered a countdown for U.S. intelligence agencies to tell Congress what they know about UFOs.
So far, any military that's been on the news has said that these crafts are not ours and they're not theirs, so they must be someone else's.
We don't have it. They don't have it. Who's operating these vehicles?
If it's not ours and it's not theirs, well, then it's someone or something else.
So the question is, are they from another world or another dimension? The History Channel is propagating that these beings are from another world.
Could mainstream scientists be discovering the home worlds of extraterrestrial visitors? For ancient astronaut theorists, the answer is a resounding yes.
The big revelation will not be, do they look like us, but we look like them, because we are their offspring.
But let's look at some of the spiritual aspects of this phenomenon. In 1917, on the 13th day of the month from May to October, 3 shepherd children said that they saw an apparition of the Virgin Mary.
What some Catholic theologians believe was the Virgin Mary.
On October 13th, 1917, a crowd of 70,000 gathered to see this apparition.
70,000 people came to this same sheep pasture.
As the crowds raised their eyes to heaven in prayer, they would witness the promised miracle, confirming everything that the children had said. They saw the sun dance. This spiritual apparition appeared as a glowing disc flying around in the heavens, much like many of the UFO sightings.
And people said that they saw a spinning silver disc.
The kids were given 3 messages. The third message apparently talks about extraterrestrial life.
Many people involved in the New Age beliefs and practices have experiences with star people or star seeds, also known as indigo children.
They call them indigo children and say that some of these kids can even see the spirits of the dead.
It's the belief that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived on Earth through birth or as a walk-in to an existing human body.
Star seeds are people, or souls more likely, that find it very difficult to be here on Earth because apparently Earth is not really their home.
Star seeds are highly evolved souls whose sole origin is from the stars. Star seeds are souls who originated in the Pleiades.
Starseeds are beings who have spent majority of their lives on different planets. The first sign that you are a starseed is that you've always felt like an alien.
It is a variant of the belief in alien-human hybrids. The question is, if these star people are visitors from another planet, how can these physical beings enter into the body of another person? This actually sounds more like the accounts we hear in the Bible of unclean spirits entering into human beings. Luke 11:24 says, "When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and finding none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out." We see that it is actually an unclean spirit that can enter into the physical body of a human being, whereas physical beings from another planet seems a lot less unlikely to be able to enter into the body of a human. Roger Morneau, later in his life in the early 90s, shared his testimony of how he was involved in a secret society of demon worshippers, and he said that a satanic high priest told him that the Grand Master, or Satan, had a deception plan for humanity, that demonic spirits would pose as visitors from far distant galaxies. He also said that it would be during a time of great calamity on the earth, and when New Age beliefs were running rampant.
Roger, when I was a teenager back in the 1970s, I remember a song that came out talking about the age of Aquarius. And since then, we've seen the development of the New Age, and I wondered if back when you were involved in spirit worship, if they talked about New Age at all.
Oh yes, it was a big thing that was coming up. One of the major deceptions of the last days. And the priest told us, we talked quite a while, and then he said, could I have a little bit more? You're telling one thing something very fascinating. He says the grand plan, the master's grand plan for harvesting the nations, for harvesting the multitudes of the earth into his cause, just before the close of the great controversy between the forces of good and evil. So we continued, after we expressed ourselves that we're deeply interested to know more about the activities of spirits. And he said it's going to be done in a unique manner. This grand plan is going to take people are going to eat the stuff. Because he says spirits, demon spirits, will declare themselves to be inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies that are coming to warn the inhabitants of planet Earth of the impending destruction of the planet unless something seriously proper is done to avoid it. And he went on saying that they will claim to have out-of-body experiences. Are you familiar with out-of-body experiences?
I've read about them.
In other words, so there's some persons are supposed to be able to, they believe in their immortal soul.
Astral projection.
Yes, right. Goes into different parts of the world and sees things and come back, and then they write all about it.
I've heard of that.
So, due to the fact that the millions of the earth people believe in people having an immortal soul, it has to be readily accepted when the spirits will, through a trance medium, converse with influential people of the land, you see.
Now, what is a trance medium?
It's a channeler today.
What is known today as a channeler?
Channeler, yeah. Okay. Shirley MacLaine's experience of getting involved with spiritism and with the inhabitants of far distant planets in the galaxies, I taped the whole thing in 3 hours.
And you were hearing the fulfillment of what this high priest had said 45 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of New Age practices involves being a channeler or a medium for spirits, as well as extraterrestrials. There are thousands of these sessions recorded where a person willfully allows their body to be inhabited by an alien being and to speak through them to give a message to humanity. This practice is becoming more and more popular among young people today as influencers of the world are promoting this idea.
Bunch of spaceships. There were like 5 to 7, and I don't know why I didn't try to take a picture of it. I just looked at it.
Kesha says that it was her interview with Demi Lovato that intrigued her into channeling alien beings.
With Demi Lovato, I loved the conversation we had because she just turned me on to a whole new, there are a couple books she mentioned and an app she mentioned that I immediately downloaded, and I made my family for Christmas. I was like, all I want for Christmas is us all to meditate and try to channel extraterrestrials. And they're like, okay. So I'm trying to get all my friends and family into meditating the aliens to us. So that's my new hobby because of Demi Lovato.
Thank you, Demi, for that.
Demi Lovato was featured in Christian Broadcast Network News as saying that being baptized in Israel filled the God-sized hole in my heart. In October of 2019, she posted a photograph of herself on Instagram being baptized in Israel with this post: I am an American singer. I was raised Christian and have Jewish ancestors. When I was offered an amazing opportunity to visit the places I had read about in the Bible growing up, I said yes. There is something absolutely magical about Israel. I've never felt such a sense of spirituality or connection to God, something I've been missing for a few years now. Spirituality is so important to me. To be baptized in the Jordan River, the same place that Jesus was baptized, I've never felt more renewed in my life. This trip has been so important for my well-being, my heart, and my soul. I'm grateful for the memories made and the opportunity to be able to fill the God-sized hole in my heart. Thank you for having me, Israel. Here, Demi Lovato shares on the Dr. Phil show of how she was prophesied over when she was a small child, about how she would use her musical gifts to reach thousands.
I went to church camp one time, and there was somebody who spoke in tongues over me, and I grew up Christian, so I wasn't familiar with this experience. And I remember them prophesizing over me, saying that one day you'll be a hero to tens of thousands of people. And luckily my platform has reached many more through social media and through my work, but it was that day that she said, you'll be a hero to thousands of people, and she said it would be through the arts. And I knew in that moment that if I ever were to make it as a singer,